Hello, folks. I hope you had a wonderful week off. This week, we've got about 7 great new books for you. You can hear about them all at once, or you can click in the description to click directly on the title that interests you. This is a brand new book from Melissa de la Cruz, and it sounds perfect for fans of the TV series Once Upon a Time. In the beginning, we meet Philomena, and she's a huge reader and a fan of the super popular Never After book series. And she's headed to the store to pick up the 13th and final installment. And when she gets there, she and all the other fans are devastated to learn that the author has died, and that the publisher was never able to locate the manuscript. So she's walking home, and she's stopped by this guy who introduces himself as Jack Stalker, who is a character from the book. She's convinced this is some sort of publicity stunt to make up for everything, but then she runs into more characters, and it turns out they need her help to get them back to Never After and save it from an evil enchantress that's taken it over. Again, I think this would be a really fun series for fans of fairy tale meets real life fiction like the Once Upon a Time series. Okay, do you see that famous name on the title of this book? This is J.K. Rowling's first story for young people since Harry Potter. And it's a once upon a time kind of magical story in which everyone in the town of Cornucopia is happy and blissful and well-fed. But according to many that live there, there's a monster that lurks, a mysterious monster. Some say that the ICKABOG is just a myth, but others start to fear that it will potentially attack. And so best friends Bert and Daisy set out to find it and destroy the town's worries once and for all. Rowling says it's a book about truth and power, and I think it may be a really quick read that Harry Potter fans are looking for. This is a brand new series from the creator of Dog Man and Captain Underpants, and it promises to be just as fun and hilarious. So Lil Petey from Dog Man, sidekick Molly the Tadpole, and Bionic Fish Flippy are running a week-long comic camp for 21 little froggies. And everybody has a different idea about how to create good art and good comics. So this makes for some really fun fights and some awesome art and some really interesting ways to think about how to get through a creative rut and come up with something unique. If you like Dog Man, you'll love Cat Kid Comic Club. The Cousins is the latest mystery from Karen McManus, whose One of Us is Lying was hugely popular. This one, as you can probably guess from the title, is all about family secrets. The 3 cousins are our narrators, and we quickly learn that each of their parents was disinherited by their grandmother before the 3 of them were ever even born. So when this never-before heard from grandma suddenly invites the 3 of them to work at her summertime beach town resort, the parents really want them to go. But once the 3 of them arrive, they realize that grandma's intentions are not quite so pure. This is a quick page turner, and we quickly learn just what grandma and the parents have been hiding. So if you're looking for a beach town type mystery, this would be a great pick for the week. It is considered a high school read, but if your family members email your Learning Commons tech with permission, middle schoolers are welcome to read it as well. I want to start off by saying that Becky Albertalli, who's the author of some of your favorite books like Simon versus the Homo Sapiens Agenda, says that this book is the book she'd give to every teenager if she could. So we've all heard the term fake news thrown around quite a lot. And according to a 2019 study from the Pew Research Center, nearly 70% of Americans say that, quote, made-up news and information greatly impacts Americans' confidence in government institutions, unquote. And while the term fake news may be new, this has actually been going on for a really long time. And former CIA analyst Cindy Otis takes readers through the history and the impact of misinformation over the centuries. And because she's worked at the CIA for so long, she's really good about including clear, actionable tips on how to spot fake news, how to make sense of information that we receive each day, and perhaps most importantly, how to make sense and understand our own biases so that we can think critically about current issues. It's hugely important, Super interesting, and includes some really useful graphics and trivia to make it fun and memorable. This is a good one, folks. The title may sound like a bummer, and don't get me wrong, it definitely can be at times. I mean, after all, it's the story of a guy who spent his young life fleeing from his home in Iran, lands in Oklahoma, where his fellow middle school students just don't understand the kid with the hairy arms who likes to talk about poop. You see, he's kind of a funny guy also, but it takes quite a bit for others to see him in that way. So he tries to show them who he is by sharing his incredible story, which almost seems unreal to them, but it is. And it's his humor and his awesome voice that make his story so interesting to read and may ultimately help his classmates to understand the journey he's been on, the history of his country, and how it led him to where he now stands in front of them trying to share his story. It's a great book if you like characters with sharp, fun voices and interesting stories that give you a new way to look at the world and others. First of all, don't you just love the title of this one? It sounds a bit like a myth, and it has some traces of Percy Jackson-like lore in it. In the story, it's all about Tom, who is a middle school student, and she is extraordinarily, freakishly super strong. Like, accidentally breaks doors when she shuts them. Like, kicks a soccer ball and accidentally breaks the goalie's ribs. And it's not really helping her social life. Not only that, but her mom has just moved her from California to Georgia, where she is the only Vietnamese student in town. So when she accidentally conjures the Monkey King, who is a legendary trickster god from Vietnamese folklore, she makes a deal with him. She says that she will help him get back his magical staff in order to get this super strength sucked away. Because, he seems like such a nice guy to make a deal with. But he is a trickster god, so I'll let you read how that one goes. It's a great one for the mythology fans.